Greetings and thank you for listening to another episode of What's Good right here at 728 Radio, also a part of the TriCountyMedia. And we are sponsored by Ware, Shoals Hardware. I'm Edris Louise and I'm your host for this afternoon. We have a very special, hot, dynamic person in the studios today, none other than introduce yourself.
I'm Rodney Boyter. I'm the fire chief with Ware Shoals Fire Department.
So, Mr. Boyter, how long have you been the fire chief?
I've been the fire chief for 12 years.
Wow. Well, that is awesome. So, why did you become interested in being a fireman or a fire chief? Or what? Tell us your journey.
I joined 22 years ago as a volunteer.
When you were 5 years old, huh?
When I was 5 years old. I had a good friend that was a firefighter, and he kept encouraging me to join, and finally one day I took the plunge and went by to kind of check things out, see what it was all about, and took an interest in it, and I've been there ever since.
I know we see a lot of programs like where fires are, I don't want to use the word sensationalized, but we see all those programs on TV. Is it like that?
It has its moments, but we're not Chicago Fire by any means. But a lot of the scenes that you see on those types of shows are fairly realistic to what we encounter.
Wow. So what all training do you have to take to be a fireman?
You have to take to be a complete, what the state calls an interior structural firefighter. It's about 200 hours of training, and then on top of that, it just goes up from there. That just gets you your basics. That allows you to go inside burning buildings. There's tons of stuff you can take outside of that. Medical first responder, apparatus operator, aerial apparatus operator, hazardous materials, auto extrication. Lots of technical rescue classes are out there. So it just conceivably could be hundreds and hundreds of hours of training that you can go through.
Wow. Well, I know we've been blessed where shows we haven't really had any bad fires in the past few years.
No, ma'am. Fortunately, we haven't had any large value fires or commercial businesses or things like that. Any fire loss, we think of it as a tragedy for that family, especially if it's a residential fire. But we've been blessed the last few years. It hasn't been too terrible.
Do you see there being a lot of fires with people using alternative types of heating for their houses? Or?
We do. We'll see, some different types of heating that can lead to fires. Kerosene heaters sometimes can be placed too close to curtains and combustibles and things like that. Folks that maybe don't have the means to have adequate heat, and they have to do the best that they can to try to heat their home. And occasionally it will start a fire.
So what does the fire department do to educate the public as far as these hazards and things?
We try to be involved in our schools. Of course, COVID has kind of thrown the interaction with the children in the schools a little bit out of whack over the last year. But we're launching a new program. We're on a quest to become what's known as a Fire Safe South Carolina community. It's through South Carolina State Fire. There's a lot of steps that we have to take to achieve that community certification. So we're going to try to get more involved with our schools if we're allowed this year. We're going to host an open house September 11th. We'll be out at the Community Safety Day on August 3rd, so we'll have information that we can give out to people. We would absolutely love to go out and meet with your church group.
That's good.
Children's groups at churches, just any kind of community group would be glad to come and talk to you.
So where's the event on August the 3rd? Will it be
August 3rd will be at Catherine Hall on the square.
Good, okay.
And that is from 5:30 until 7:30. So we'll have the Ware Shoals Police and the fire department up there and some other organizations. So we'll be giving out brochures, or you can just come talk to a fireman. You can come look at our trucks.
Can we ring the bell?
You can ring the bell. You can get an application if you want to volunteer at that event. So we'll try to saturate the community with some good safety information that day.
About how many volunteer firemen do you have here in Ware Shoals?
Right now I have 21 members.
Wow.
19 of those are adults, and I have 2 high school students that are known as explorers. So they're just now starting to get involved in the fire department. And you can join as an explorer in 9th grade. in high school. And then when you turn 18, you'll become, a regular member.
So someone mans the fire department?
No, we're 100% volunteer.
Okay.
We respond from our home, respond from work in some cases, or wherever we may be when we get a call.
Oh, okay. Because I saw that they built a new fire department so is it South Greenwood Avenue?
South Greenwood, yes, ma'am.
South Greenwood Avenue. It looks state of the art.
It's a very nice building. Greenwood County blessed us by helping build that building, so it's much better than the 39 East Main Street location we were in for years and years. Fire trucks have grown tremendously over the years. That building on East Main Street was designed for fire trucks in the 60s and 70s, and of course now they're a lot bigger. But it gives us a lot of options. We've got some office space, we've got storage space, plenty of room to park our trucks and do some training there at the fire department. We've got a nice training room. We're actually hosting the South Carolina Fire Academy class over there tomorrow night. So it gives us the ability to bring those classes in to our people, and we don't necessarily have to travel very far off to get that training.
Because I know my cousin was a firefighter in the Detroit area, and he recently moved to South Carolina, and he was just ecstatic when he said, "Cuz, look over there. That's wild." You may get a volunteer fireman out of him.
That would be great.
He was a firefighter for over 40 years, and
wow.
he moved to Ware, Shoals, so he's been looking at your building.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Are there any female volunteers?
Right now, we don't have any. We've had females on and off over the years. It's our last female was a high school student. She explored for a while with us. We've had actually, I take that back. I do have one female.
Oh, good.
She's a paramedic, so she kind of gravitates more towards the EMS side of things. But she's also trained in swift water rescue. She's one of our drivers, and she's been in the fire service for quite a while.
Okay. And I know with the Saluda River, I guess there's what type of safety suggestions or directions can you give to us about safety and
the Saluda?
I know you can't have fire on water, but still it's all a part.
Yeah, the Saluda is definitely a lot more dangerous than it would appear. You ride by and it looks tranquil and nice and picturesque, but it's claimed quite a number of lives over the years. A lot of times people may go out and overexert themselves and get tired as they're swimming. They may be out there by themselves, so number one, be a good swimmer. Be aware of the currents in the river is a lot different than a swimming pool or a lake. Just due to the number of rocks and things that we have. Swim with a buddy. Have friends there that if something happens, they can get help there as quick as possible, things like that.
So being a fireman, you encompass almost everything from getting cats out of the trees to whatever you...
The modern fire service is what we deem a all hazards service. It could be everything from an emergency medical incident to a vehicle accident to a fire to a hazardous material scene to a technical rescue situation, water rescue situation. Pretty much if you have an emergency and it's not a law enforcement related thing, the fire department's going to be there.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that is awesome in Little Ware, Shoals, but in all the communities in South Carolina and around, it's important to have firemen, and we really appreciate the work that you do and that your guys and ladies do. I know they always talk about, do you have a pet down there at the... No pet yet?
If we had people that live there, we'd probably have a pet. So we don't have a mascot. Right. We don't have any mascots down there. Okay.
Well, but you said you want to get out in the community, and the dates, so you're going to be August the 3rd?
August the 3rd will be the community safety night, and that's sponsored by the town. We'll have the police and fire departments out there that night. So come by and see us then. September 11th, we're going to do a memorial walk to memorialize the 20th anniversary of September 11th. So the firefighters from Greenwood, Abbeville, and Lawrence County will open that up to everybody. We'll be doing a memorial walk, but as soon as that's over with, we're going to host an open house at our fire station from 11:30 to 2 that day. So you can come in, you can kind of get behind the scenes look, see what the firehouse looks like on the inside. We're going to do hot dog plates. We'll have tons of kids' activities. They can spray water. They can climb all over the trucks. Parents can ask any questions that they want. Sign up to get smoke detectors installed. So if you need smoke detectors, please reach out to us. We have plenty. We'll be glad to come out and put them in for you if you need that. If you're perhaps elderly or don't get around real well, and you haven't been able to check yours in a while, we'll come check them for you. If you need a new battery, we'll put a new battery in it.
How often, as information, should we change our batteries? Is it like every 6 months? I know I try to do every 6 months, or I know some people wait till it starts that annoying beep, but
change them twice a year. Change them when the time changes.
Okay.
Now there's a 10-year lithium battery that you can buy a smoke detector that you don't have to touch.
Okay.
You turn it on, you put it up, and it's good for 10 years. Any smoke detector that you have in your home, you need to replace every 10 years. So if you've got one that's been in there 15 years and you've put 39-volt batteries in it over its life cycle, it's time to change that one out with a new one.
Okay. And a question just escaped me. Do you find that people are not putting the smoke detectors in, or they're not having the extinguishers in the place?
We do encounter quite a few incidents where we'll go out and the home has smoke detectors, and perhaps we go over and we notice you've had you smoked the house up, you burned the Thanksgiving turkey, and the smoke detectors aren't going off, and we'll say, hey, do you have smoke detectors? Well, no, we don't. Would you like some? Because we'll be glad to come back and put some in for you.
Okay.
So a lot of people don't know about that.
And that's a free service by the fire department, putting smoke detectors in homes. That's very important. And as far as extinguishers, you can purchase them from Lowe's?
There's Lowe's, Home Depot. Some hardware stores will have them. There's a local business that sells fire extinguishers. There's one here right outside of Ware, Shoals. There's one down in southern Greenwood County. So there's plenty of options to get those. Okay.
And having smoke detectors and having extinguishers are important to have, especially with rental property, or even if you own your property. So.
Yeah. And also, just talking with your children about, hey, this is what we're going to do if there's an emergency in our home. This is our exit plan. We use the acronym EDITH, exit drills in the home. That's one of the things that when we talk to children about fire safety, we want them to go home, talk to mom and dad. All right, so the smoke detector went off, so what do we do, mom and dad? Where are we going to meet at? Where's the family meeting place? Things like that.
And some people think, oh, that's so quirky having the fire drills, but my former pastor, Pastor James F. Davis III, I don't know if you know him or not, he's in the community, pastor of Dunn Creek Baptist Church, but he's always said, much review is the student's glue. So we need to make sure, and practicing the fire drills to know where to go, because whenever you get upset or get anxious, your brain goes haywire.
That's right. So if you practice it, it's just second nature to you. It's just that's why we train so much. We don't get on an emergency and kind of wonder what to do. We know what to do because we train hundreds of hours every year. So it's the same thing with your children. If you review that periodically, talk to them about this is our home address. This is how you call 911. This is how you report an emergency, and this is what I want you to do if this happens. So all those little things add up.
So that's something real important that parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles can do to help our children be safe, and knowing their address, knowing how to do what to do in case of an emergency, when to call 911. So that's real important. So tell us a little bit about you. You grew up in Waterloo, you said?
I grew up in Waterloo. My dad's from Ware, Shoals. My mom's from Waterloo. Lived there until I was 18, 19 years old. Went to school, graduated from Ware Shoals High a few years back, back in the 90s. So when it was time to kind of settle down roots, I put my roots down in Shoals Junction.
Wow, okay.
Been there for 21 years.
That's great. Yeah. That is wonderful. And you said you just had the fireman's bug when you were little, and...
If you would have asked me when I was a little kid, sure, every little kid wants to be a fireman or a policeman or a military or, different careers. Never was anything that I planned to be. Definitely didn't plan to do it this long. Didn't plan to be a fire chief. I think in the volunteer fire service, leadership's a little bit different than it is in a paid service. You're kind of paid service. You're on more of a career track. Volunteer side is a little bit different. We have to meet most of the same qualifications that they do. We have to get some upper level incident management training and tracks like that. There's only been a handful of fire chiefs in Ware Shoals, so I count myself blessed to be you know, among some of those good men like Marshall Webster and Bruce Miller and Mike Madison and Greg Lindley and some of those guys this wore that badge before me.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you guys do for fun to build teamwork or?
We like to have a good time. We like to eat. we like to cut up, have a good time. It's a family atmosphere. It's a fellowship. It's a brother and sisterhood. We're all from different walks of life. We all have tons of different kind of occupations. We've got people that own their own businesses. We have people that work in manufacturing. People that we got a couple of people that are retired that come in and volunteer. But we all come together. We've kind of got that common bond. It's just a willingness to serve. It's more of a calling than it is an occupation. You know, our people are mostly from here. They like to just take care of our community, and that's kind of what brought us. It kind of leads you into that.
And if somebody wanted to volunteer, they would just need to contact you or contact.
Yeah, you can contact us. We meet 3 Tuesday nights a month at 6:30. The first, second, and the last Tuesday. You can send us a message on Facebook at Ware Shoals Fire Rescue. Ask how to get an application. I can put it in your hand, or I can email it to you, or come out to one of the community events that we're going to be hosting and talk to us about it a little bit more then.
So to be a firefighter, you said you have to go through training. Any other physical requirements?
We do have, you know, physicals every year. Get on a treadmill and run and stuff like that. Don't let that be a deterrent if you've been sitting here thinking, well, I could probably do that, because we can use anybody. We need people to drive trucks. We need people to pump the water out of the trucks. We need people that just want to come in and just help do paperwork and things like that. People that are good with computers. There's a lot of data entry involved. Every report that we have, it gets logged in, gets sent off to the state, things like that. So there's a place for anybody, really.
This is exciting. Now, as far as a chaplain, do you have some chaplain services? You know?
Yes, ma'am, we do. Reverend Nix, who's the pastor at Calvary Baptist here in town, is our chaplain. Greg does a really good job. He ministers to folks in need. Obviously, we go out on car wrecks and house fires, and sometimes people are at a very great loss. And Greg ministers to those people, but in turn, we kind of absorb all that in a different way, and it kind of accumulates over time, some of the tragedies that you see. So Greg ministers to us as well. Mental health is a big thing for first responders, to keep our mental health healthy, and keep us in a good place mentally, because it does kind of take a little bit of a toll after a while. So Greg does a good job with that.
I'm just sitting here and all listening to you, and just, it's amazing. And you're such a young man to have that calling on your life. And when did you become fire chief?
2009.
Okay.
Greg Lindley had been there for a while, and Greg left to take the fire coordinator's job in Lawrence County. And I was asked to go on as interim chief by the town, and I was Greg's assistant chief. So I moved up, and that was that.
Okay, well, that's great. And what's the age range? You said they can be in high school. Who is your eldest?
Well, we're not going to reveal his age. But one of our former chiefs, Mr. Webster, Marshall Webster, he is a very community-minded gentleman, and he just rolled off town council this past election, and he came to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to get back on the fire department." He'd been gone for 20 plus years. Still has a desire to serve, and he just became a member a couple of months ago.
That's great.
So our youngest member is 15 years old. He's a high school. He'll be a sophomore this year.
And you said you meet three Tuesdays out of the month, and you do training, and you do community outreach, and I think that's awesome. So we're going to review once again the events that's coming up. You said August the 3rd.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us all about it again.
August the 3rd, we'll be at Town Square up at Catherine Hall, 5:30 to 7:30. We'll be out with the Ware Shoals Police Department, and I think our Youth and Communities Committee of Town Council, I think they're sponsoring a couple of things for kids. I think they're going to do hot dog plates. I think maybe Ryan said face painting, something like that. Police and fire will be up there showing off, who we are, what kind of equipment we work with, just interacting with the children and the parents. So that'll be a good event for us. And then September 11th, we'll have a 9/11 memorial walk. That's open to anybody that wants to come up there. You'll see a bunch of firemen in their turnout gear. We'll do a kind of a slow, silent walk. We'll start at Ware Shoals High School at 8:46. We'll do our walk. We'll come back. We'll have some music and a speaker. A very kind of it'll honestly be a little bit of a somber time as we reflect and we remember. Then we're going to go over to the station at 11:30. We're going to have an open house. We hope to see lots of moms and dads and kids and grandparents or whoever wants to come. You'll get to see everything behind the scenes. We'll do some demonstrations. We'll let kids spray some water because they always like to do that. Give out lots of coloring books and fire safety material and things like that.
Well, that is awesome. And also do know, what's good about being a part of the fire department is not only service, providing the service of being a first responder, but you also are willing to go to churches, go to different civic events to talk about fire safety.
Absolutely.
And that's real important.
We'd love to come join you, whether it's your senior group at church, whether it's your young people at church, your little children at church, any kind of civic group, we would love to come out and talk with you and spend a little bit of time with you.
That's awesome. Well, is there anything else you want to share with us?
That's all the news I got tonight.
Okay, well, good. We want to give a shout out to all the volunteer firemen in Ware Shoals and volunteer fire women to be in Ware Shoals. Come and be a part of, be a first responder because service is what it's all about. And that's what makes our community good. So, Chief Boyter, we want to thank you for being here with us. And we want to thank you for listening to us here, What's Good with Edris Louise, right here at TriCountyMedia, part of the 728 radio station. If you want to contact us, please email 728whatsgood@gmail.com. That's 728WHATSGOOD@gmail.com. Email your comments, email your suggestions, but also we need sponsors. With anything, it takes money.
It does.
So we do need your sponsorship in order to keep What's Good on the air, and we hope that you're seeing this as something to show that we do have good things and good people in our community. So we invite you to be a part of the What's Good family right here at Tri-County Media. Once again, we're sponsored by Ware Shoals Hardware, and we're thankful for their sponsorship, and we just hope that you've enjoyed this time. Remember, fire safety is very important. It's also a service, and it's also a ministry to help in the time of need. So we want you to just embrace our fire department. They're volunteers, men that go out and women that go out in the community that want to serve and want to help in your time of need. So thank you again for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
Well, great. And until we meet again, this is What's Good with Edris Louise. God bless you until we meet again.
Ware Shoals Hardware thrives on providing A1 customer service with smiling faces, a knowledgeable staff, wonderful atmosphere, top-grade products such as Valspar paints and supplies, DeWalt, Stanley, Irwin, and Vulcan tools, lawnmower blades and belts, an assortment of farm animal feed, top-brand pet food like Value Pack Performance dog food. Uncompromising quality is the standard at Ware Shoals Hardware, where they have everything for your everyday living needs. So stop by Ware Shoals Hardware at 11 Mill Street, Ware Shoals, South Carolina, 29692, or call 864-456-2122 and tell them you heard it right here on your favorite station, 728 Radio.